Hi everyone, and thank you for joining the Timelines and Reality workshop. I've posted the full video from the original workshop that will follow this one on this library platform. I wanted to give an introduction as to what it is and a little more information because I made the mistake in the beginning of that workshop of not actually hitting record on what we were talking about. Luckily, I only got about 5-10 minutes in before one of the attendees mentioned it and pointed it out, and we were able to start that pretty quickly. Now, I don't remember if some of this was covered already in the video. I didn't go back and rewatch the whole thing. I know there are, like, the first 5 minutes were missing, so I know, a good portion of what was there, and I'm going to talk about that a little more here in a second. And just to help provide clarity on that information. And I wanted to also mention that at the end of the workshop, we had talked about people interacting with their spirit guides, meeting them, talking to them, to understand more of their own time travel experiences, to understand more about what the meaning and symbolism of, say, visions and dreams might be for them, because there's a lot of symbolism overlaid in those types of concepts that I talk about in that video. And that meditation is also available here. It's part of the Unleash Your Spirit course. The Unleash Your Spirit course, if you have not already taken it, if you have not already taken it, is free. Everybody that's accessing this workshop can take it for free, but the meditations I've pulled out and put them in this specific section of the library to give you direct access without having to go through the entire course, because I mean, if you're attending the workshop, you don't need to necessarily go through the course to do this. So there's going to be two meditations. I guess there's going to be a relaxation meditation, which teaches you how to relax. One of my beliefs is that a lot of people starting out do not truly know how to relax, and that's part of the reason why some people struggle to meditate, because they cannot get into a relaxed state of being where their body drops away and they can experience more of an energetic state. So that meditation will teach you how to go through a relaxation. And then there will be a spirit guide meditation. The spirit guide meditation is going to bring you to an oak tree or a tree that you create within your own framing as you're doing that vision journey. And when you get to that tree, a guide will present. And when that guide presents, you can ask them questions about time travel, about anything that is applicable to your journey, because we all experience it differently. We're all at different stages. Some people are experiencing visions and prophetic dreams, which is typically how it starts. And then other people start experiencing astral travel, which is where your soul leaves your body and you're able to actually travel the timelines. Now, something to remember too, time does not exist. I posted a reel recently about the difficulty of, while explaining this concept, we have these words, we have time, and we have timelines. Time is a measurement. It does not exist. Timelines do exist, but time does not exist. Don't let that confuse you at all. I often say when I'm talking, like, it's this weird thing where we're saying time does not exist, but we are saying timelines exist. In the future, what I might start doing is actually calling them storylines, because they are really more storylines that we're accessing, that we're living, choose your own adventure type storylines, which I'll explain more in the workshop as it goes on, talking about how you can shift your reality and shift your timeline and shift your world. So when we started, I started talking about reality as the first portion, and it's a small portion because the workshop focuses on time and timelines. But reality is important to understand that everybody's perception of reality is different. If you're using your eyes, you're perceiving you know, the light reflecting off of objects, absorbing or emitting from different objects. And that's how we perceive visual, that's how our visual acuity works. But we don't perceive the whole light spectrum. We actually perceive a very small fraction of it. And there, I don't remember, I want to say, and don't quote me on this, but I want to say it's like 300 nanometers to 700 nanometers of the light spectrum. And it goes from, you know, 0 to thousands type of thing. So we see a very small portion of it. When it comes to sound, we determine some of our reality based on our sound. If we hear a truck go by on the roadway, our reality now contains this sense of a truck just passed on the highway. Now, if we did not hear that sound, that truck would not be part of our reality. We wouldn't even know it existed, type of thing. Dogs, cats, other types of animals can hear far more than we can. They have a different reality because they can hear things we cannot hear. Animals like a bald eagle can see far, far away down to pinpoint precision. It can see better than us. There are animals that can see colors that we cannot see. There's I'm gonna forget if it's a shrimp or a lobster. I believe it's a shrimp, and it's not coming into my mind what it is exactly, but there's an ocean creature anyway that can see colors that we cannot perceive because we have something, and now these numbers are not accurate. I'm using this as an example because I don't remember the numbers offhand, but we have something like 3 cones or something in our eyes to 3 rods and cones, I think they're called, to experience light. And this creature in the ocean has like 12 or something, which is an exponential amount of color combinations that it can perceive based on the light and that type of thing. Bats use echolocate, or it's not maybe it is, dolphins use echolocation. Bats use like sonar waves type of thing. Snakes use heat. They sense based on heat. You know, there are, what else is there? Birds can sense magnetic fields. Think about the difference in reality that creates for every individual being that's experiencing something. That's why it's important as you go on your spiritual journey to understand that your reality is valid. What you are experiencing is valid at the moment you experience it, and at that moment, based on the knowledge you experience within that moment. Your perception is based on your ability to understand what you are perceiving. So, you know, go into the future, if you see, let's see if I can think of an example off the top of my head. I mean, a lot of people, this is a good example. A lot of people think when they're taken, I don't like the word abduction, but they think when they're taken, you know, from an extraterrestrial standpoint, that it is a malicious encounter. It's not malicious. It is not malicious if you understand what is going on. Now, not to undermine the fact that there are malicious encounters out there, but fewer and farther between than I think people realize. So it's this idea of taking a cat to the vet. You take a cat to the vet. The cat does not know the vet is of its highest good. All it knows is it's going into the vet. It starts freaking out. It's getting jabbed. It's got somebody holding it down. It's, you know, they're poking and prodding, trying to figure out if it's healthy or not. It's for the cat's highest good, to make sure it's healthy and going to live a long life. The cat does not know that. The cat is like, get the hell away from me, be gone, I don't like you, stop this. And it's a, for a lot of animals, going to the vet is a perception of being in a malicious encounter. Your reality and your perception and your knowledge of the moment all blend together to create how you perceive that moment, essentially. So if your only knowledge is that ETs are demons, which is something I've been seeing a lot of lately as the news, as encounters come up and that sort of thing. If that's your knowledge, then of course, anytime you see these beings, you're going to experience it from a space of they are demons, which completely shifts your reality and shifts your perception. The same thing goes for love. If you experience them with love, you're going to see them and you're going to feel them and you're going to feel you're going to feel from your heart space, and you're going to be like, okay, what is your intention? What is your purpose? I feel the love coming from you. I can feel you're not malintent. Maybe there's fear. A lot of the beings that I have met, they are actually afraid of us more than we are of them in many cases. You know, it's this one thing where fear, the human fear, has the ability to shift the viewpoint, or not the viewpoint, I'm sorry, I'm losing track here. Human fear has the ability to result in dangerous outcomes for both the others involved and the human involved. You know, fear is the greatest enemy. So if you go into an experience with love in your heart, you'll be able to feel out, is it actually malicious, what is happening, ask what is going on, and realize that the event is not of your worst experience or anything like that. A lot of times it's of the highest good to help accelerate ascension. Or they're just around checking you out, like, oh, we're friends, we're friendly, we're just exploring, or we shifted into this area and we're looking around. It completely shifts your reality, your view of reality. And then when you understand that not everybody has the senses and capacity to experience what you do, you'll understand that reality is completely different for everyone. Reality, even when people come to me and they're like, hey, I experienced this, XYZ. I can't think of an example offhand, but they'll be like, hey, I experienced some event, some situation, and I'll go, you know, I've never experienced that, but I believe you because I have experienced things that nobody else I know has experienced, and it's my perception and ability to tap into other dimensions, other realms, planets, you know, the universes, that type of thing. The ability to tap into all that stuff and perceive it going on around us, whether that's visually, third eye, mind's eye, downloads, feeling, emotions, however you're using your skill set, your tool set. Everybody's experience can be different. You'll find people that resonate you with that experience, but there'll be a lot of differences on the journey. And when it comes to reality, understanding that the physical plane of Earth is not the only dimension, not the only physical dimension. There are, when the Sasquatches taught me, they were like, there's an onion, and if you take an onion and cut it in half and pretend that's the Earth, there are multiple layers to the onion. There are layers of that onion that are inside the Earth and inside the skies, and all of them have physicality to them. They are physical dimensions of being. It is all the perception when you're in there of that physical space. And I've seen that. I've been to inner Earth spaces that have physical spatial dimensions. And I've ridden my gargoyle friend, Frederick. I've posted about him on Instagram before. I rode him into the sky one time, astrally rode him into the sky. A portal opened, and I went into the sky, and it's like up in the sky, like, you know, you're flying up. Here's the portal. We go through the portal, but now this is ground, and we're crawling onto the ground of another place in time that exists in the sky. That was his world. And in that world, as soon as we entered, there was a disc there. There was a Zeta ET disc. I usually just kind of assume they're Zetas because I see a lot of discs and Zetas together. But these beings that looked like Zetas, didn't talk to them at the time, so I don't actually know, which is why I'm saying that. They looked over me, they smiled at me, and they waved like, hey, almost like they knew I was coming. Now, granted, I took a gargoyle up there, which is a completely different vibration in dimensional space than most ETs, right? Most interdimensionals, but they're there too. And so I crawl into this space astrally, and he goes and he immediately shifts into this giant, his like normal form is like sitting there type of thing. So he came astrally to pick me up and then shifted into his physical form in that space and time, which was enormous. But the disc was there, and that's when I realized the disc started going and snapped and disappeared in a flash of light. And I realized the discs were shifting the dimensions they were in. They were going from that dimension to another layer of physicality to wherever they could exist. So there are thousands of those, if not possibly infinite numbers of those. I don't understand how it works. It's not something the human brain, I think, is meant to truly understand, at least not in this stage of our evolution. And it's something that I just know that if people say, I saw XYZ, I know, I'm like, okay, probably another dimensional space bleeding together with ours, or another being coming down from the sky or up from the earth, those types of things. So remember, as you go on this journey, whether it's seeing things, experiencing things, hearing them, feeling them, whatever it is, in mind's eye, all that stuff, everybody's experience is valid. And then we add time travel on top of that. Now, time travel is a big one, because you start to realize as you go through this that time is not real, and I'll explain that a little more in the beginning of the next video. But time is not real. Time is a construct. It's a measurement. It's like an inch, a meter, a foot, a gallon. They don't exist. We think they exist because we apply them to physical things, but they really don't exist. They just are units of measurement that we can make sense in our mind to help us construct things, or when it comes to time, schedule events, set our days, that type of thing. So time does not really exist. And it becomes very apparent when you start working with these other dimensions, when you start working with other beings, because a lot of other beings are like, you know, what are you talking about? Why are you asking us, hey, where have you been? We haven't seen you in forever. Because for them, time not existing and living in a now moment, they can be here. And somebody might say, I've had this a lot, where people go, you know, I saw the ETs once and they haven't been back in a year. Did I make them mad? What did I do? I'm like, don't worry about it. Let it go. Leave it be. Time is not the same for them. You're worried about it because you're sticking to a time construct. There are many times, there are many times that I have experienced beings and they haven't shown back up. And it's not that they're not going to show back up. It's that they have not shown back up in my now moment. Or I experience them and it's 6 months before I hear from them a telepathic ping, or meet them in meditation, or whatever it is. They will come when they're meant to come, in the now moment that you exist in. And when they come and you ask them, like, hey, where have you been? They'll be like, what do you mean? We were just here. They were just here because time works differently for them. Time doesn't exist. And for those in the physical realms, you know, from other planets, from that have technologies and stuff, they're able to manipulate time and shift it so much that, I mean, they could be here for 20 minutes, leave, come back a year later, and for them it's only been an hour, because of all the technology involved and all the ways that time works on a proximity level to planets, stars, moving in and out, and that sort of thing. So there are ways to actually, you know, leave a space and come back and not have much time go by, or leave a space, spend a lot of time away, and come back too. Yeah, so I feel like that's everything I kind of initially covered in the video. Nothing else is coming to mind. So Thank you all for joining. Thank you for watching this video, supporting me in the workshop. Enjoy the rest of the video. I did cut the workshop when we start the mini readings. It only contains the time travel portion stuff. So when it ends, it ends because that is the start of the readings, which I believe are you know, just for those select people that show up and that are in some instances more private details that, you know, we don't want on videos for everybody and that type of thing. So please enjoy the video. Remember, those guided meditations are there for if you want to meet your spirit guides. And if you have any questions, remember to ask. This workshop is a developing workshop, meaning that all the information and energy you need is in these 2 videos. But for all of those who have questions, I'm going to respond to the questions either in text format or a video and post them as like additional commentary on the workshop for everybody to help clarify anybody else that might have that, help clarify that to anybody else who might have that same question, especially in the future as time comes up. So these, remember to come back if you get an alert that something new has been posted. That's the idea. These are developing with content. And if you have questions, if you're taking this workshop and you have questions in the future about time and that, send them to me. You know, log in, send it to me, and then we'll get it answered. So thank you again, and enjoy the next part of the time and reality workshop. I love you all. I'm grateful for all of you.